Yo, PC fam, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. We are back 2 days a week, so you can catch us here on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or not or, but and Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So come check us out. We back 2 days running. Chill. How does it feel to be back 2 days a week?
So we just adding to what we already doing. So nothing happened Saturday. We still doing the same thing. We just giving you more of us. This is what y'all asked for. Y'all been on our case. Yo, what happened to the Wednesday show? What happened to this show? So we back in effect. We here. This is what y'all asked for. So we here. We doing it.
No doubt. Just giving them out what y'all want.
That's what you wanted.
Well,
so we doing it.
So with these Thursday shows, just to let y'all know, they're going to be a little shorter. They're going to be an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday shows, we're going to kind of dedicate that to the playoff hunt, the playoff race, and how we think that's going. That's kind of going to be a little bit of the theme of these Thursday shows. But we're also going to talk about games from the previous night, give y'all some current news and things like that as well.
Right.
One thing that has happened, Chill, is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is still playing ball, still contributing to winning, and he's scoring points. Chill, right now he has the second most points amongst point guards in the history of the NBA. What does that say about Russell Westbrook?
It says that I don't think Russ is going to be appreciated like he is until after he's gone. When he goes away, and then especially living in the information era that we live in today, considering what Russ has done, there are people who are going to look at Russell Westbrook and they're going to look at his resume and look at everything that he's done, and just off the eye test from the resume, they're going to be like, wow, this guy was incredible. This guy was fantastic. I mean, Oscar Robertson is the only point guard who scored more points than him in NBA history. That's it. No other league guard has scored more points than him in NBA history, except Oscar Robertson. That's it. That's where we are with Russell Westbrook today. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but he's also in a space right now. Russ is also in a space right now, which I think is fantastic. Russ is in a space right now where he could potentially, if he played another year or 2 years, he could potentially join the 25,000 point, 10,000 assist club. There's only one other guy in that, and that's LeBron James. Last night when they played against Sacramento, unfortunately to your detriment, Ox, the game plan was to leave Russell Westbrook open, to dare Russ to shoot shots, to dare Russ to make shots, make Russ make plays, and he did that. And yes, Russ is long in the tooth. Yes, Russ has a lot going on in terms of his age, but he's still a viable piece. And he's still somebody that can really help a team. And he's been good for this Denver team. I thought Sacramento did as good a job as they possibly could, taking him out of the action with Joker and making him be more of an individual one-on-one player. I thought they did a good job at that, taking him out of the action with Joker. They just didn't anticipate that he would make open shots like he did last night. They didn't anticipate that he would get to the rim and operate as efficiently as he did with the condensed defense like they did, because that's Russ. Russ is one of those guys where his faults, teams try to use those as virtues. So him not being able to shoot, okay, we're going to dare Russ to shoot so we can speed the game up. We're going to dare Russ to make plays in a condensed defense so we can turn the ball over so we can get the ball back. So it's stuff like that, right? I feel like it's stuff like that that has made Russ so just viable as a point guard. And I don't think that we talk about him nearly as much as we should. And I don't think that that's going to happen until after Russ is gone.
Well, he's only 800 points behind Oscar Robertson. So is it safe to say that he'll be number one next season?
I think he catches him next season, and I think he surpasses Oscar Robertson. Yes, I do.
And Steph is only 1,000 behind Russ. So I mean, things change.
So that would make Steph, if he's 1,000 behind Russ, that would make him 1,800 behind Oscar Robertson. So that means within the next 2 years, Steph is going to catch Oscar Robertson, and they're both going to go. And Oscar Robertson is going to go behind both Russ and Steph, which is pretty impressive for both of them to be a part of the 25,000 point club as league guards. You can't say that Russ isn't a scorer. You can't say that. You can't.
No, it's impossible. It's impossible.
You can't.
So how? Wait, because I know we did talk. We discussed this before. So is it next year? Russ should get the 10,000 assists.
That's what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating that by next season, Rush should have, because I think Russ is close to 9,000 right now. So if Russ plays 2 more years, I think he's there. If he plays 2 more years, because I think he's over 9,000 assists right now. Now that I think about it, I think he's at like 90. I think he's at like 9,600, 99. I know for a fact that he's over 9,000. I do know that. So
it's coming up on that.
Yes, it's close. So I think by next year, within the next 2 years, Russ should pass that threshold and be a part of the 25,000 point, 10,000 assist club. There are a lot of people, Ox, that look at Russ's game, and one of the biggest flaws in Russ's game is that you can't trust him in the meat and potatoes of games because he'll turn the ball over. If you think about all the great point guards in NBA history, whom do you trust the least? And it's probably Russell Westbrook because of his shot selection, or he'll turn the basketball over. But you can't deny what he has produced. And I do know that winning matters when you're talking about being an all-time great, 100%. But I can't overlook what you produce also. And I won't overlook that. And with Russ, Russ has done something astronomical. To be the all-time scoring leader in point guards in NBA history, to be a member of the 25,000 point, 10,000 assist club. That's a pretty astronomical feat.
Right. Well, shout out to Russ, and
yes, sir.
And good luck against that 25 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of a point guard, a younger point guard right now, Lamelo Ball. Mm-hmm. So it's rumored that Lamelo wants to win. And things like the record in not New Orleans, in Charlotte is what hurt his chances in making it to the All-Star game and things like that. So what do you think about his future in Charlotte? Do you expect Charlotte to want to trade him, because they were already about to trade Mark Williams?
Yeah.
So what do we think about this?
I think that we see players, and when they get to this specific part of their career, we see players put in ridiculous amounts of numbers, and then they recognize that this right here is all it is, and they want to be recognized as winners. Lamelo Ball got 4 more years left on it. He just signed an extension. He literally just signed an extension in the summer of 23. He's got 4 more years left on this deal after this year, and none of them are team options or player options. He's locked in for the next 4 more seasons at about 37, 40, 43, and 47 and 46 million. Charlotte, they could come off that money, and if they did, it would save them a lot of money to start over. I can appreciate that. But we talked about this earlier when we talked about teams cash strapping themselves, teams being in the second apron, according to the NBA CBA, where it makes them almost strapped when it comes to being able to make trades, make free agency signings. And if you're going to sign Lamelo Ball, who still has close to 160 million left on his deal, if you have him, what you're going to have to give up to get him, and on top of that, the durability issue with him over the last 5 years, he's been in and out of the lineup. Over the last 5 years, he's had ankle injuries, and as he gets older, these things are going to continue to linger. So if Lamelo Ball, if we're talking about moving off of him, we have to get something back substantial. When Lamelo Ball leaves Charlotte, he is a box office attraction that they don't have anymore in Charlotte. Charlotte, one of the main reasons why we talk about the Charlotte Hornets is because of Lamelo Ball. He is the attraction in Charlotte. So if you're moving off your attraction and you're moving into a different space to get somebody else, well, I damn sure better have something that's a contingency plan to sell tickets, because I can tell you who ain't selling tickets. That's Mark Williams, and that's Mikal Bridges. Not Mikal Bridges, I'm sorry, Miles Bridges. Those two guys are not selling tickets. Not like that. The moniker is Lamelo Ball. He's the guy who everybody wants to see. And for all intents purposes, he is box office because of not just his game, but his off the court stuff too. Driving a car which is the same color as my suit. The kind of shoes that he rocks, the style that he has. He's really appealing to the younger crowd. And for a small market like Charlotte, they got to consider something like that. They got to consider something like that because if they come off of him, it looks really tricky now in selling tickets. But the one thing I found out, Ox, is that in the NBA, winning cures a lot of things. And if you can win, people will show up. So to your point earlier today, if we are trying to build something, we got two choices. We either continue to build around Lamelo Ball, who we just signed to an extension in the summer of 23, and that contract just kicked in. This season was when that contract kicked in. And we either sign him and build around him, or we move off of him and we start over, and we got to get it right in the draft. Because again,
that's where I'm at with it, Chill. I hear what you're saying, but like ticket sales, things like that, that's never moved me in the sense of making decisions. You know what I mean? Especially if my decisions, I look at it like I don't think franchises should base it on that. I think they should look at it more like, if we're trying to win, if I'm going to make this move because I think it could put us in a position to be competitive in the next, let's call it 2, 3, 4 seasons. If I think we can rebuild and do that, I'm fine, because I still believe like if we're still putting out a team, we're out there working hard to show that we're trying to win, I still think we can get fans to come to the games. It might be a little less. We might lose 10%. That's a lot. I'm not trying to say like that's no big deal. I'm saying I would rather us take a slight dip in ticket sales this season and maybe next season in order for us to become competitive again. I would be if I'm Charlotte, I'm calling New Orleans. How do I get LaMelo? Do y'all want to put LaMelo with Zion? Because who we're going to talk about next, Zion Williamson, he's back in shape and he's showing out.
Yes,
he showed up to show out right now. So I'm calling New Orleans. Like, what's up with Trey Murphy, Herb Jones? How many draft picks you got? You know what I mean? What's the move? Can I? How many firsts can I get? Can I get 3 of them? Can I get 3 of those first you got coming up? Maybe Trey Murphy too. I'll take CJ McCollum too, just to, get some points on the board for these next couple seasons.
And balance out the money, make the money work.
Yeah, the money, right?
Make the money work.
So that's where I'll be at, and I think I think New Orleans, they jump on that fast. At least I would.
Considering New Orleans is in the same space as Charlotte in terms of being a small market and ticket sales being what it is. To your point, Ox, and I think that one of the main reasons why you have that feeling is because, being a Sacramento fan, Sacramento isn't a huge market. And one of the main reasons why Sacramento has become as popular as they become because they put a competitive team on the floor. Even when they're not winning, they put a competitive team on the floor, and teams and people come to see that, right? So with people coming to see that, eventually that starts to attract other teams, and not only other teams, other players. That starts to attract them to the point where they go, you know what, Sacramento don't look like a bad place to play. Maybe I do want to go play in Sacramento. And on top of that, that also makes you viable for draft picks. You know what? I do want to play in Sacramento. I would like to play with LaMelo Ball. I would like to play with Zion Williamson. He looks like somebody that I could really help him. I could help his game. So I understand it from that aspect, but when you're in the red, which, and I hate this, to be honest with you, Ox, the business of basketball can suck sometimes, right? Talk, but unfortunately, in the business that we work in, if you can't talk basketball unless you talk the business of basketball. We can't do that. So a guy like LaMelo Ball, we have to consider, if we're moving off of him, what exactly are we getting in return? How long is this rebuild going to take? Is Charlotte a place that's viable enough where if we just put a competitive product on the floor, which they haven't done, you already know how I feel, Ox. I think they're the worst team in the league. I don't think they're competitive at all. And not only are they not competitive, they don't look like they're going to be. So if we come off of our only trump card, and now we're starting this thing over, sure, you can be honest with the fans and let them know, okay, we're starting over. who are you starting over with? And how long is this process going to take? If you do that, I'm not sure, especially a place like Charlotte, I don't know the kind of fan base that they're going to be after that.
Right. Well, my thing with that too, Chill, is like if you were able to get CJ and Trey Murphy, I think those are two guys that are going to play to win. I'm not saying that that's going to put Charlotte in the playoff race or anything. Right. I'm saying I think those are two guys that fans can appreciate. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you get some good draft picks. Let's say they get a young guy in this draft pick, one of the top 4, top 3 picks. I really don't think Charlotte is in a terrible position. If Mark Williams could be healthy and be a rim protector, be a big for them, I would 100% be considering trading LaMelo, and it would have to be for quite a bit of draft picks and young players like a Trey Murphy.
What was the worst that could happen at this point, Ox? We're the worst team in the league. We can't be any worse than what we already are right now. We're the worst team in the league, so it's not like we're throwing dynamite on something that's working. This is clearly not working. What we're doing, clearly not. So it's obvious that we're gonna have to go in a different direction.
Right. And to the guy that I said that I would like to pair LaMelo Ball up with, Zion Williamson. Over the last 16 games, y'all, Zion Williamson has been playing 27 minutes a game. So I think those are good minutes. That's a good minutes for him. I mean, for him now, I think that's a sweet spot. I think that's a sweet spot for him because it's not too many minutes, but also he's very productive in these minutes. Because
that's why I said that's it. That's why I said that's it.
Oh, okay. Because in those 27 minutes per game, he's averaging 26.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Unbelievable.
He's getting to it fast.
Yes. Well, here's the thing, Ox. You and I, have had this conversation about Zion in the past where I've said, if I could get 5 years of health from Zion, the way we talk about Luka, the way we talk about Jason Tatum, the way we talk about SJ, we'd be talking about him like that too. I think he's I think he's in that caliber of player. The problem is that he can't hold up. One of his biggest issues was his health. Well, I can't say that anymore because I've seen him lately, and Ox, he looks fantastic. He looks like he's in great shape. He looks like somebody who is starting to take the game seriously. It looks like he's taking his fitness seriously, which I mean, is that what it takes? Because this is what college is for. I understand that a lot of these guys that go to school don't need to be in school, but athletically is not the only reason why you should be in school. A lot of times these guys, they need to be around people their age. They need to grow up in that area, as opposed to being around grown-ups in the NBA with wives and kids. Maybe that's not for you right now. And you would come into the league a little bit more mature. Don't get me wrong. I'm on record saying that I thought that Zion was wasting his time in school, but maybe socially, and not just socially, but maybe from a work ethic standpoint, maybe he could have used another year or two in school just to get that work ethic in his body correct.
Well, sure, it's real simple to me. The word I'm looking for, the term I'm looking for is professionalism. You have to learn how to be a professional. And that goes in so many different aspects of life, but specifically in basketball, when you turn pro, you have to be ready to be a professional. I mean, I talk about it all the time when I'm having discussions with teenagers that are, just youth athletics, teenagers in particular. And I explained to them my own experiences. So a lot of money was taken out of my pockets because of my lack of professionalism at a young age. It took me to be 23, 24 to grow up, be a professional. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, I see this from Zion, and it makes me so happy.
Yes.
Like you did what you had to do. You got your stuff together. You know what I'm saying? You got fit. Now look at this. Just look at the instant impact. Chill. 27 minutes a game. He's averaging 26, 7, and 5.
That's a point a minute almost.
Chill. That means no foreplay.
None. We getting right to it.
Boom.
Right to it.
He's not.
Get right to it.
Zion is not playing. He's getting
No,
into it. I
no
love this for Zion.
candlelights, no music. It's come in the
No,
house and
no Al
getting,
Green.
none of that. He getting right to it, and I love that about him. To be honest with you, we actually had a conversation about Zion just yesterday, and it was laid out to me how the kind of player that Zion is, and considering he's not much of a jump shooter, which is why I want to put the ball in his hands. Because I said this to you guys last season when Coach Green had him at the lead guard spot, how much better he was. Because I don't give Zion enough credit for the passer that he is. Zion can pass his ass off. And in terms of getting downhill, he creates so many mismatches just when he gets downhill and getting to the rim. It's like a bowling ball rolling down one of them hills that we saw in San Francisco. You just got to get out of the way because you're going to get ran over. You're gonna get ran over. Yes,
he's so violent. You gotta. He's the wing version of Shaquille O'Neal. He's just violent. He's aggressive. Yes. He's mean. I love watching him play. And I hear you with the letting him have the ball. And I'm not mad at that. I would like to see it more of like a secondary transition option where you're getting long rebounds or you're catching it. You just happen to be closest for the outlet pass. You get it and go. I like that for Zion. But chill, honestly, I want the ones to figure out a way to get Lamelo Ball, Trae Young,
somebody like that. Somebody like that where we can have a primary ball handler, but we can run the offense through Zion. Those two things aren't the same.
I even want to go as far, if not one of those two guys.
Yep.
I almost want to say Anthony Simons, but I'm not really sure. But definitely one of those two blockbuster type players. Like I think Zion needs to be paired with one of them. Brandon Ingram's already out of there. It's time. It's maybe if they were to get somebody like that, I think Atlanta has a nice core to where if they were to move off a trade and get some more pieces over there and send him over there with Zion, I think Zion's ready, chill. I do.
Ox, if I can get, we're already at I think we're in year 5 right now with Zion, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And this is probably who he is. If I had to look at the stat line, and I think that a lot of people don't, and I feel like I've explained this more than once, more than twice, when I explain exactly what by year 5 means. By year 5, that means on a Tuesday, this is what you should expect from this guy. That doesn't mean that moving forward, he can't be better or have a better season. He might have a 28 a game season, a 29 a game season. But ultimately, I'm not expecting 30 a game from him for the next 8 or 9 years. No, I'm not expecting that. He's probably a 24, between a 23 and a 25 a game guy, about 6 or 7 rebounds. This is probably who he is on a Tuesday, which I'm cool with that. I am good with that. The thing that I want from him more than anything, Ox, can I get 3-4 years of health? Can I get that? Can I get 3-4 years where I could get 65 to 70 games? Now we're talking way different about him. Way different.
So Zion could even maybe even stand and slim up maybe 5-7 more pounds. You know what I mean? Just
what you think is a good weight for him, Ox, in your estimation? What do you think is a good weight for Zion?
Where do you think he is right now?
He looks to me like he's about 260. That's what 260.
He looks like. I'm thinking something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe about that's all. So yeah, maybe about 250, 252, somewhere between.
That's what I was thinking.
248, 252, somewhere like that. That's heavy. You know what I'm saying? That's heavyweight, but it's still light enough though. It's still light enough. You can still move like that. I think for basketball players, especially if you're not over 6'8", 6'9", I think 245 is probably the highest. I'm thinking you should be. Try to you want to keep it a little light.
Him at about, I think he's 6'6", 6'7". I'm thinking anywhere, Ox, between 250 and 260.
Yeah,
that's not. I don't think that's 10 pounds is a big gap. But I'm thinking closer to 255 because I feel like a lot of his game, to your point, and we're talking about violent. I think a lot of his game deals with strength and power. I don't want to lose that when he loses weight. No, and I think a lot him throwing his weight around has a lot to do with how effective he is. So I don't want him. I don't want him to drop to like 235, 240. I think anywhere between 250 and 260, closer to 255. That's where I would like him to be, because I still feel like he's light enough on his feet. I still feel like he got that bounce where he can still hop and he can still be effective. I think that's a good weight for him. And to your point, Ox, looking at him, he looked like he had to call up them people at Po' Boys like, yo, I can't come around no more. I can't. I
can't pull up.
I can't come around no more. I'm trying to do something. And I love what you guys, I love what y'all do out there. Don't think I'm one of your most valuable customers, but I'm trying to do something. I can't come through no more. I can't.
I got to cut the carbs.
I got to chill out, yo.
And no more beignets. No, I got when you get gumbo, he got to get a cup of gumbo. No extra large bowls.
No more bowls, Ox. No more them huge bowls.
Yeah, that's all it is. You know, you gotta take it easy. Yeah. You know what? Before we move off of Zion, though, I do want to ask you this: do you think? And I think maybe when you do slim down a little bit, tighten it up, I think it makes it a little easier. Do you think it's possible for him to really put that spot, maybe a spot up 3 ball in his game? You know, a consistent. I'm talking about a consistent spot up 3 ball. Now, I don't need Zion tween pull up for 3. I don't need all that. But just a simple catch and shoot, real consistent though. You know, do you think we can get that from Zion?
I don't know if we could get that, but I think that we could get a consistent mid range from him. Okay. If I could get something anywhere between 17 and 19 feet, where he could keep the defense honest, because he's such a problem getting downhill, and if he could knock something, especially to your point about Lamelo Ball, where Lamelo Ball sees him in transition, or Lamelo Ball sees him in the half court, and Lamelo Ball is getting him the basketball, where he's knocking down a 17-footer, a quick catch and shoot, right? Or he's maybe he's knocking down a 3, where he's just respectable. I think that makes him even less guardable, because now you got to. It's kind of like what Giannis is doing today with the mid range. When Giannis adds that mid range into his game, now you have to respect that, which means that you have to crowd him. Well, if you're going to crowd him, he's going to blow your doors off. That's all he's going to do. And the same logic goes with Zion. Well, Ox, if I seen Zion get in the shape that he's gotten into with the skill set that he has, I think he can put a respectable mid range in his game, or even a respectable long ball where I can get a catch and shoot. I can get one, maybe 2 threes from him in a night. I'm not looking for him to shoot the basketball at the long ball line 7-8 times. No, I'm not interested in that. But if I could get him to knock down 1, maybe 2 threes, and I could get him in that mid range where it could be respectable, y'all dudes is finished. Y'all have no shot against them. None.
I'm telling you, Chill, that the NBA needs it. The NBA needs Lamelo Ball in New Orleans. The NBA needs Lamelo Ball, Zion Williamson, link up. Y'all need to make it happen. Somebody call somebody. Y'all need to make it happen. New Orleans got some picks and some pieces for y'all to start building off of. Build through the draft. Free LaMelo. Let him and Zion link up and turn the NBA upside down. I don't know if they're going to win anything, but it'll be nice.
That's where I'm at with it, Ox. I'm not as big on LaMelo as you are. I do know that when he was in Charlotte, he made the All-Star team, and the fact that Gordon Hayward had gotten hurt before Gordon Hayward got hurt, I want to say in the 22 season, I mean, they were 5th in the East. My question with him is, 1, his style of play, and 2, his health. Can he stay healthy? Because now I got 2 guys that I got to worry about being out of the lineup, both Zion and LaMelo Ball. I mean, this is going to be Gail Goodrich and Pistol Pete, where I barely get 50 games out of them, and I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that, especially considering what I got to give up especially considering what I would have to give up to get him. No, I do not want to do that. No.
Well, something happened. I'm not gonna believe that it's just they kept trying the same thing over and over in New Orleans. I think they had to have brought somebody in. You know, so they had to have brought somebody in, a staff in to help Zion. I just don't. That doesn't just happen. You know what I'm saying? That switch up, that doesn't just happen without some new influence, new structure, or new knowledge. So
could it be possible? Could it be possible, Ox, that somebody put the bug in his ear? My man, you're gonna be out the league. You keep this up.
Yeah, that's new knowledge. That's very possible. That's some new knowledge I'm talking about. Something you ain't think about this, huh? Your ass gonna be on that couch if you don't get it together. Now
you're gonna be out the league. And I don't want to hear that at 24 years old. Hell no, I don't want to hear that at 23 years old. You telling me my career could be over?
Yeah, because at 20, I mean, somebody probably said it, but at 22, he didn't believe it.
Right.
Now with these, with you know what happened the last year, some
Mhm.
things he might just need to have heard that from a different person or something.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they can get, if they can get Zion on track, maybe they can get LaMelo on track and healthy too with his lower extremities. So I don't know. I'm just thinking that'd be dope to see. But
Yes, it would be.
chill, before we move on to the title of the show and kind of get into the NBA playoff race, which to remind y'all, we're going to be doing this every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, man. Y'all will catch us here on Chill with Chill. We're back twice a week, just like the old days, man. We back in full effect. But on these Thursday shows, we're going to make it a point to talk about this intense playoff run in the East and the West. We're going to talk about the battle for seeding. We're going to get some predictions from me, from Chill, from you. So y'all tap in every Thursday. Be here. I'm always going to drop the link. Y'all know what to do. Click it first so you can get up here. These are shorter episodes on Thursdays. It's only going to be an hour. So when I call you up, don't be too long-winded. Just get straight to it. Let's have some good hoop talk. Before we get into these playoff race, though, I'm going to bring up somebody from the lobby. We got my man, Football Breakdown. He's ready to come up here and give his 2 cents. What's up, Football?
Can't hear you, brother.
You're muted, bro.
Yep, you can't hear you. Let's see if we can get him back. Nope.
Good.
Still.
I'm gonna give you a couple seconds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back for you. We got somebody else.
We'll come right back for you.
All right. So we'll be right back for Football Breakdown. In the meantime, we got Jay Takashi.
What up?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Chill?
Yo.
What's up, Ox? How you guys doing?
Good, brother. Good.
Hey, listen. Yeah, I'll make it real quick. Hey, listen. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but like the Warriors have like really had a big change since Jimmy Butler trade, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Nobody expected for this to be a great pairing as it is right now. Like, I'm actually surprised, like how Steph has like turned it around.
Why not?
And
though,
I'm
Jay?
also
Why not? Why not though, Jay? I mean, Jimmy Butler. I mean, that everything that you was everything else you already had it. Is that fair? If you think about
That's
everything
fair.
else you already had, so defensively, you guys I think you're in the top 10 in the league defensively. You got one of the best benches in the league. What was missing? What was missing from this group? A secondary scorer, right?
Correct.
And with Jimmy Butler, you don't have to replace Jimmy Butler with Clay. No, you don't have to do that. I mean, you don't have to replace Clay with Jimmy Butler. No, you don't have to replace Clay. I mean, you don't have to replace whomever. When you take Clay out the lineup, you don't have to replace Clay with Clay. We already seen that with Buddy Hield, right? You don't have to do that. But you do have to replace him with a secondary scorer. You do need a bucket getter. And I mean, this thing looks like it's working.
Right. And like my thing is just because Jimmy just being integrated like that, and it seems like him and Draymond and Steph, like you have three different IQ guys trying to find out how to meld and work well together, how to run plays, and how like Steve Kerr has been managing to make it work. Yep. Has been like spectacular. Like I'm like, this thing is flourishing like really, really good. And like I said, they look a little unstoppable, but like I've heard you and the guys on the panel talk about the size is going to be a problem. Like that's going to be the biggest like problem right now. Like I said, they don't have another sizable big. And Knox, I have been listening to you on podcasts talking about if they manage to get Larry Market in the offseason, because I think his extension ends end of this year, right?
No, he just signed an extension. Literally, he just signed an extension last summer. So
what does he have? 2 more after this? Yeah,
does he have 2 more?
No, he just signed a long-term extension in Utah this summer that just passed. So he's not going nowhere.
Okay. Okay. So in the case of them trying to get a big, because like I said, I can see them getting knocked out in the second round of the playoffs. Like I said, I'll give them that. I think they can get to the probably to the second round, put up a good fight, and then I'm like, okay, off season we got to look for some bigs. And I want to throw this one person out for you. What about Nicholas Claxton from the Nets?
No,
what about him?
He's going to end up in Los Angeles. The Lakers going to do everything that they can to get after him because that's what they miss. That's what they miss. Claxton is the chick that you like, but the dude over here, he got more money and more bread than you, so he going
facts.
He going to wind him down a little bit more. So yeah,
facts. Facts. Hey, listen. I appreciate you guys answering my question, man. And listen, you guys keep having a dope stream, man. I'll be in the background.
Yes, sir. Good to talk to you.
Okay, let's see if football breakdown is ready. But before we do get to football, I was going to say, I got faith in Kevon Looney and Trace Jackson Davis. I don't think they're little. Like they might not be 7-footers, but they're not small. I don't understand this. The Warriors a small thing.
That wasn't my issue. I mean, we was calling Looney Lajuan last year, were we not? During the playoffs. So that wasn't my issue. My issue was, can Steph Curry turn the clock back? That was my issue. Can Jimmy Butler turn the clock back? That's been my issue, and that will be my issue. Can I get that from those two guys?
My thing is, even let's say Kevon Looney was small, which I don't think he is. Let's say if Kevon Looney was small,
right?
If you can bang with DeMontis, you can bang with anybody.
Fact.
So,
that is a fact.
I don't care if you're 6'3". If you can bang with DeMontis, you can bang with anybody. So it doesn't matter to me. But
that part I won't argue. I will not argue that.
Okay, let's pull up football. Football breakdown. What's up, bro?
What up?
Can you hear me now?
Now you hot.
Thank you. Just quick, I want to get some points off. One, I feel like Damian Lillard's having an underrated year. Kind of under the radar. He's having a very solid year.
Football. Before you go any further, I've been an advocate on here. I think Damian Lillard is an all-pro this year. So I just want to make sure that we clear on that. I've been saying that all season long. I think Damian Lillard's going to make the all-pro team. But keep going.
I would have to think about it. But, yeah, he's playing, I think, a very solid role. He's not being spoken enough about. Zion, happy he's healthy, back on the court. Great explosion to the rim. First step is crazy. John Morant fell off, unfortunately. I feel like he's.
What happened with John? What happened with John?
I just think when he got suspended that year off, he just had a lot of turmoil, not a lot of consistent basketball. I'm not sure I don't know what his offseason routine is like, but he doesn't strike me as someone who works on his game like day in, day out.
Do you think that the injury might have affected him with his shoulder?
Yeah, the injury could have affected him, but I think it's that lifestyle and other stuff. So I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a person who.
So it has less to do with basketball and more to do with him.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a multitude of things, but the one thing I wanted to give you some ammo, chill, when Swiper keeps talking about Jokic, because over the last few weeks he's been very sensitive about the Jokic topic and his Denver Nuggets.
Which is kind of interesting considering, I mean, he gets on me about Jason Tatum all the time, and I do everything that I can to help them. But now, we in this space. But keep going.
Like, Jokic did his job. He just started 0 for 8 and blew a 20-point lead in a game 7 at home, and the previous game got blown out by 50 against a team that wasn't that great offensively. But hey, whatever. And then he likes to use these advanced stats to protect Jokic and his all-time ranking, the same advanced stats that changed the formula, because Russell Westbrook had the highest BPM in the history of the game, and they changed it because they don't think their eye test matched what Russell Westbrook was producing. But now they changed it, which is ridiculous. Right?
So what you watching and what the numbers say? No, we can't do that. We got to change.
Yeah, we can't. We can't have the highest BPM, so we got to change it. So it fits what we think we're seeing on the scene, which again is a subjective observation, right? For instance, I just want y'all to let you know that assists for centers, like the coefficient for assists for centers in the calculation for BPM, is double than the coefficient for guards.
That means For every assist that you get is almost 2 for a big fella, as opposed to.
And in terms of the calculation for BPM, it's 0.580 for point guards and 1.034 for centers.
So double. And
this is what I'm saying. We play position. I understand they have like a bunch of regression models to calculate coefficient, but at the end of the day, it's still a subjective. It's still a subjective way that they apply coefficients in a way, because no formula is perfect. That's why I don't like advanced analytics, right? Because if you're going to say Jokic is the greatest offensive player ever, right, you can't say that and be like, he has no flaws. What these formulas don't take into account is the ability for certain offensive players to adopt different play styles. For instance, right, if Jokic needs to come out and score 50, right, like, F my teammates, right, they're going to try to limit me to be a passer and just give it to my teammates and limit my shots per game. Like, it's easy to we've seen. I think it's easy to limit Jokic's attempts at the rim and to make him a non-aggressive player, right? Whereas a perimeter player who's on that threshold of an all-time scoring player, you can't. You know how hard it is to stop a Kobe from taking 30 shots if he wants to take 30 shots. He's gonna get those rocks off, or a Steph or a Bron or Jordan. Like they're gonna get their shit off. You can only do so much to prevent them from having a certain type of impact or an aggression towards scoring that may be needed in certain instances in the playoffs. So I understand, Jokic shoots these percentages and the numbers and the stats look great, right? But he's going to get a certain floor of production because of how the Nuggets play him, how many touches a game he gets, and how much the offense runs through him. Like he's going to get a certain floor of production. And what I'm saying is Jokic is an all-time great. But even with that, his stats overrepresents his actual impact on winning. I've said this and people are like, oh, you're just hating, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, because anytime the Nuggets have made a deep playoff run, Jamal Murray's had to play like an all-time point guard in some of these series.
Which stats are we talking about when you say that his stats are overrepresenting what he? Because what doesn't overrepresent him is the 30 a game. That doesn't overrepresent him.
No. What I'm saying is like people will say people like the. I think for me the prime like I know Jokic is a great passer, right? I just don't believe he's in the threshold of a Nash, Magic, Luka, Bron, Jason Kidd level. I think he feeds a lot. He gets a lot of assists. Again, it's his assist numbers. Like for instance, Nash will rarely get 19 assists a game. Like if you were like who's more likely to get 17 assists in a game, it's always going to be Jokic because of the DHOs, the dump offs. They double him in the post, and when you double in the post, it's easier to make passes to the 3-point line because you're already so sunk in because of the nature of him being a center and being the hub in the interior versus a hub on the exterior.
Wait a minute, though. Hold on, football. I don't know if that's fair because we got a lot of guys in the league that get doubled that can't make those passes, that can't make those reads. We got a lot of guys that we play dribble handoff with that they're not nearly as effective as Joker is with dribble handoff.
Well, he's a great screener, but no one also gets those amount of touches per game. He leads the league
in
the
offense through him. That's why, because they run the offense.
But that's my point. I'm saying
football real quick because I think I hear what you're saying as far as his usage he has the ball. I think there's some validity to what you're saying, no doubt. But we do got to keep it moving though, brother. And I do appreciate you coming up.
Absolutely. I want to get. I would like to see you again, and I want to talk about this some more. Football. I do. I definitely want to talk about this some more. If you get an opportunity, we're gonna be on again on Saturday. If you could come through, I would like to talk about this some more.
Absolutely, y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, so I think there's definitely a little validity to that, though.
Oh, no question about it. When you got the basketball, but there's a reason why he's doing what he's doing. That offense is built around his skill set. That's why they run the offense through him, right? So they're not running the offense through him just because he's big. We don't run the offense through Mark Williams because he's a big guy. No, we run the offense through Mark Williams because he can pass his ass off. Mark Williams is great on the block or something like that. If that was Mark Williams, so I think that's obviously a fact that they wouldn't run it through him if he couldn't handle it. Like he's it's not that he's not this good. I think his stats might just overrepresent what he's doing a little bit. I understand that what football was saying for sure. I do. Before we get to our next couple guests that are in the lobby waiting, I want to get to this playoff race because that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about this playoff race. It's a mad dash to the finish. There's teams that are fighting for seeding, teams trying to get the right matchup. And I want to just get to it right now. Let's just kind of go over how things are as they stand, and kind of just talk about some of the threats and some of the short things, and just just an overall overview of what we're thinking about this playoff race. So I'll start in the East. In the East, as we know, Cleveland is 1, Boston's 2, New York is 3, Milwaukee 4. No surprise with that. Indiana and Detroit are on Milwaukee right now. I mean, you know what I'll do? I'm just gonna share this. Let's go to the NBA standings on ESPN. Let's just share that. It's interesting, Ox, because you brought up a interesting point about these standings, because I remember you and I had a conversation not too long ago about where the separation is. Like you got the Cavs, and then you got the Celtics, the Knicks, and then there's separation. Then you got the Bucks, Indiana Pacers, and Detroit. Then there's separation. Then you got the Heat, and you were running down some teams before that. I'll let you keep going.
Right, well, yeah, it's just just the Heat, Orlando, and Atlanta are all there fighting for that 7th seed. I mean, Detroit, Milwaukee, Indiana fighting for 4. So, that's what we're looking like. So let's get into this. I'm pretty sure this is set. As far as the East goes with this 10 teams. Like, I don't think Brooklyn, Philly, or Toronto are going to break into the play-in. And
is Brooklyn? Am I looking at Brooklyn really being a game and a half out the play-in spot? When they 19 games under 500, am I really looking at that right now, or am I losing my mind?
That's what we're looking at. I just don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna catch Chicago. I mean, they can obviously, but I mean the top 3 teams are solidified. I think they're all going to be play-in teams. I don't see them dropping out of the play-in, but I also don't see them getting into the top 6. And I'm talking about Miami, Orlando, and Atlanta. Sure. So I don't think there's too much shift going on there. The main thing I'm looking at is that 4 seed. I'm looking at that 4 seed, 4, 5, 6. Who's going to be the matchup there? Which of those 2 teams are going to play each other, and which one of those teams is going to play the Knicks?
So, if to your point, when we talk about the separation, so like with the Celtics are separated from Cleveland. Cleveland's running away with the Eastern Conference right now.
Right,
they're 8 games ahead of Boston. Boston is comfortably in second. They're 3.5 games ahead of New York. I like them ahead of New York. So it's them in New York. And then there's a separation between New York, Milwaukee, Indiana, and Detroit. We could have this over the next month, Ox. It could turn into Milwaukee in the 5 spot, Indiana in the 4 spot. We could have Detroit in the 5 spot, Indiana in the 6 spot. We could have Detroit possibly. And by the way, these 3 teams are in the same division. That's why this is important. All 3 of these teams are in the same division. So this I don't think that this necessarily is going to be what it is at the end. Even though I had Milwaukee before the season started, I had them at the 4 spot. I ended up having Indiana at the 7 spot. But where they are, they've become a lot better than what they are. Detroit could jump up to that 4 spot. But where we are right now, this is where we are right now. And then we have separation after Detroit with Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, and Chicago. These 4 teams are probably who they are. So, as you know, I'm not a big fan of the play-in tournament. So So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave Atlanta and Chicago out. That's what I'm gonna do.
I don't think those teams matter anyway. Neither one of those teams is gonna beat Chicago. I mean, Cleveland or Boston anyway. So I said what I said about Miami and Orlando, but I don't have them winning any of those series. I don't even think those 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think that matters at all in the East anyway. I think only the top 6 teams have any action.
I'm having a difficult time seeing Cleveland lose to Orlando in a series. If the playoffs started today, I'm having a difficult time seeing Orlando get a game from Cleveland. I ain't even talking about winning a series. I'm talking about just getting a game from them. I'm having a difficult time seeing that. And then I feel the same way about the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. I'm having a difficult time with the Boston Celtics giving the Miami Heat a game. I don't think they get a game from the Heat. I don't think the Heat get a game from the Celtics. I think the Celtics walk right past them in 4 games. I'd be surprised if they got a game. I would be. I'd be extremely surprised if they ended up getting a game.
But in this 6 and 3 off the way it is now, this is where I've heard you have some different claims about this. Yes. Where are we at with the Knicks and the Pistons?
Well, one of the things that I'm concerning myself with the Knicks is that matchup between Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham. I think Cade Cunningham will wear Jalen Brunson down, and I think that he will take advantage of Jalen Brunson. Also, I feel like the Detroit Pistons front line, with how Jalen Duren has been rebounding the basketball and their rotation, it's just been so much better. This could be a 6. I think the Knicks beat them, but I think this could be a 6, maybe even a 7-game dogfight, Ox.
Well, chill. I'm curious to know how does Cade Cunningham wear Jalen Brunson down. What is Jalen Brunson doing anywhere near Cade Cunningham?
Well, that's the first problem. Probably OG is going to end up dealing with Cade Cunningham. But Cade Cunningham, knowing him, he would probably that's going to be a Sore Thompson's matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a Sore Thompson's matchup. But when we get to the meat and potatoes of games, I feel like Cade Cunningham is going to have to accept that matchup. And I also think that Jalen's going to have to accept that matchup too. And I think that as much as it's going to be difficult to keep Jalen in front of Cade being a bigger guard, being physical like he is, I think that he could wear down Jalen. I think that he can consistently get downhill, bump Jalen, get to the rim, because he's done that when they played the Knicks, and it's worked. So I think this could be a 6, maybe even a 7-game dogfight.
Right. And just as it is though. Well, I know we still got to talk about Milwaukee and Indiana, but because I am curious, because this is the race to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kind of just give what you expect it to be? Do you expect this to be the seeding in the top 6? Well, I'm going to talk about the top 6.
Right.
Do you expect it to kind of stay this way, or will that 4, 5, 6 shift a little bit?
Well,
the only one. Are we going to be talking about Milwaukee versus Indiana?
I'm glad you brought that up, Ox, because those are the 3 teams that I'm thinking about where it could get jumbled up. Those are the only 3, because I feel like at the top with the 1, 2, 3, I think that's the seed. I don't think those 3 guys are moving.
Yeah.
I think
so. Let's move it around a little bit here. We talked about New York versus the Pistons, right?
Yep.
Now let's talk about New York versus Indiana. What do you expect to see in the New York versus Indiana series if the Pistons take 5 and the Pacers take 6?
Well, if I'm looking at this, I think that this becomes a classic grudge match series. So last year, the Knicks were undermanned, no OG, right? No OG. Julius Randle was out. They were definitely undermanned. This season, for all intents and purposes, that they end up staying healthy. So now we got bodies that we could throw at. We got bodies that we can throw at Jalen Brunson. You got Nembhard that you can throw at him. You got Nesmith that you can throw at him. You got different bodies that you could throw at Brunson. On top of that, I feel like they can speed the game up and play to their strengths. Indiana is one of the better transition teams in the league. And with them being one of the better transition teams in the league, I have to give Tyrese Halliburton a lot more credit for the shot creator that he is. And I think he'll go after Jalen Brunson. I think on the flip side to that, I think that the New York Knicks provide something that Indiana can't really combat. As much as Turner could hit the 3, he can't hit the 3 like Cat. He can't stretch the defense like Cat. And when Cat's dragging him away from the basket, Cat's opening up all of the lanes to get to the rim. And he's their last line of defense. Turner is their rim protector. We got perimeter defenders in Nesmith. We got perimeter defenders in Nembhard. However, if I'm dragging Turner away from the basket, he's getting downhill, and there's nobody to stop Cat getting to the rim. Nobody able to stop him. And on top of him, Ox, there's nobody to stop or to slow down Jalen Brunson when he's getting to the rim. At the rim, I mean. Not getting to the rim, but I mean at the rim. When he's able to combat that first line of defense from Nesmith, or he's combat that first line of defense from Nembhard. If Cat is at the long ball line and he's dragging Turner away, there's nobody to really stop those guys there's nobody to really stop those guys at the rim because he's their last line of defense.
So you got the Knicks winning that series?
Yes.
Against the Pacers.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say Detroit gets the 4th seed, Indiana stays there in the 5th, and Milwaukee drops to 6. Is that the worst case scenario for the Knicks?
No, it's not the worst case scenario actually, it is the worst case scenario. Let's see here. No, it's actually not, Ox, because the number 1 seed would get the lowest seed, which is the 6th seed. They would end up. That means that Cleveland would end up having to see Milwaukee. So that would be a good thing.
No.
So the way it works,
plays the 3.
So right. So we're just dealing with the first round.
Yeah. I'm talking. Yeah, because I'm talking about if this shifts, right? Like if the 4, 5, and 6 are the ones that we see switching. Right. So I'm trying to figure out which one, how they will
I'm
match
with
up
you
with the
now.
Knicks.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
with you now. So if the Knicks end up having to see Milwaukee, I don't know if the Knicks want to see Milwaukee in round one. I do not. I think that's a bad case scenario for them because considering how good Giannis is, I feel like with the Knicks, they can take advantage. I mean, there are some advantages with the Knicks. As you know, Ox, Milwaukee, they give up the most three-point attempts in this series. I think they're 25th in the league in attempts at the long ball line. So you basically can get what you want at the long ball line. Well, if you got a guy like Cat who cracks the long ball, you got OG Anunoby who cracks the long ball, you got Jalen Brunson who cracks the long ball. That's a recipe for disaster for Milwaukee. That doesn't help them out at all. However, we got Damian Lillard. We're going to put Cat in all the action. We're going to do everything that we can to put Cat in all the action. And if Cat calls himself playing drop, we are going to attack him.
Got it.
100. We are going to attack him. Damian Lillard in particular are going to attack him. Put him into action. Keep him in the action the entire game, no matter what. Continuously go after him.
Well, that's the standing so far in the East, and we kind of talked about the 4, 5, and 6 seeds because those are the ones that we think could actually shift in this mad dash to the playoffs and actually switch some things up. From that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, those seeds, if those switch around, we don't really think those will have any impact on the playoffs at all. So that's why we kind of just focused on that 4, 5, and 6, and then matching up with each other or potentially matching up with the 3 seed New York Knicks. Now, moving on to the Western Conference, we have kind of a similar situation going on. As far as the two, we'll say the 2 through 5 seeds are pretty congested there. They're the 2 and 3 are tied. They're both 11 games back. That's Denver and LA. The 4th seed Grizzlies are 2 games behind them, and the Rockets are 3 games behind that, or 1 game behind the Grizzlies. So those 4 could probably still shift, as well as 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll probably leave Dallas out of it with the news with Kyrie Irving. So we'll probably say 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the Kings, the Clippers, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors. They're all bunched up together as well. Chill, could you see this Western Conference ending the way it is right now with the seeding how it is, or do you see anybody fluctuating? Who do you see moving around in this?
Well, I've said this to you earlier, Ox. I could see the Kings flipping the Clippers and the Clippers being on the outside looking in. I could see that. And on top of that, like we talked about previous with the Eastern Conference, I'm not sure that I don't hate a Minnesota Lakers matchup in round 1. I don't hate that. I think that that's a very competitive matchup. I like the matchup between the Lakers and Minnesota off the strength of what Anthony Edwards brings with Rudy being viable. Don't get me wrong. I think the Lakers do have the 2 best players in the series, and I think that they're going to be able to cause matchup problems, and they're going to be hell for them. But I feel like with the Lakers, their offense and I feel like with the Lakers, with their lack of bigs, they're going to have to do a lot more in terms of rebounding with Rudy, with Julius Randle, with McDaniels. They're going to have to do a lot more, and I feel like that could wear on him. And Ox, one of your biggest issues with James is wearing him down. Well, he's going to have to rebound more, considering that him fighting with Rudy and him fighting with Julius Randle all night. I mean, Jackson Hayes, I don't think he can hold that on. I don't think he can hold that by himself. So they're gonna need help from him and Luka, and I think that could wear down James. So I don't hate this matchup with Minnesota. I do think that the Lakers handle them, but I don't hate this matchup.
Rui would have to really step up and become a rebounder. He really have to come and get 7, 8. I need 7 minimum a night from you, Rui. I need you to get in there and really get on that glass.
Yes.
So let me see. What about Houston, Golden State? That's the gap right there, 5 and 6. But the way Houston is trending, the way Golden State is trending, Golden State could potentially flip them.
I'm not buying.
No,
I think Houston stays in
Do-
that 5 spot.
Don't
In fact,
don't you think Golden State does everything in their power to play Memphis instead of Denver in that first round?
if that's the case, Ox, I think if anybody could get flipped, I think Houston can flip Memphis, and I think Golden State could flip both of them, and I think Memphis could end up in the 6th spot because I think the Rockets can open. I think the Rockets can ultimately flip Memphis. I as much as they've been, suspect defensively, I mean, they're still hanging in games, and I still think that they have a cushion, even if Golden State is making a push. If Golden State were to make a push up to that if Golden State were to make a push, if they were to flip anybody, they would flip. If they were to flip anybody, Memphis would be the one on the outside looking into this. They would be the 6th spot, and they would have to see somebody like Denver in round 1.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, that's that. We're gonna keep y'all posted on the playoff hunt, on the race, on the seedings as they are right now. As we told y'all, apologies to anybody in the lobby that we couldn't get to. As I told y'all, it's only gonna be an hour show today. We'll try to get y'all in next time, but our main goal of these Thursday shows leading up to April and through the playoffs is to kind of focus on the playoff hunt, focus on seeding, and just kind of do some light predictions of what we think can happen. So y'all make sure don't miss these Thursday shows, man. It's where we're gonna really get to the nitty gritty on this whole playoff thing. Yep. Yeah, man. I'm so happy to be back on Thursdays with y'all. Well, it was Wednesdays, but happy to be back twice a week with y'all. Just sharing this beautiful basketball content.
We back.
We're almost to the playoffs, y'all. Hold on tight.
We are back.
Chill.
We are back. You know where to find us at. We are back. Thursdays and Saturdays. Come check us out. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? And if you're ever in the Portland area and you had a little bit too much to drink, hit my man. He won't leave you out there. Hit my man up. Here, guy, he got you. We will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys. This was awesome. We are back. We'll
see y'all tomorrow. We'll see y'all tomorrow on the panel. Y'all know where to find us. We'll see y'all after tomorrow. That's Saturday. Chill with Chill. We're coming back again. That will be noon Eastern. Do not be late. In the meantime, y'all know what time it is, man. Never drink and drive. We'll catch y'all soon. Peace.
We back.